Hello, welcome to the Trews Comments edition. Here are some comments that you've sent us to communicate what you're feeling and that. Josh Green, Russell, quit hating on Dawkins. You know religion has done more harm than good. How can we measure that? I'm not anyway. What you call religion, I call territorialism and sort of ideological imperialism. I don't think it's good to go around on crusades or do jihads or lie at people or have a go at people. But I do think it's good to have a system that connects the known and the unknown, and for us to have a ritualised way of understanding the limitations of our own perspective and embracing ideas that are beyond our consciousness. And that's what religion's meant to be for me. And old Dickie Dawkins, with his way of judging the world, prevents the positive things about religion, and I think if we eschew those positive things, then we ain't got any chance of countenancing the materialistic ideologues that currently govern us, like, governments, big corporations and that. So I think religion might be a way of circumnavigating them. I don't think we can do it with old leftist ideas or old revolutionary notions, because I don't think they work anymore. Obviously there'd have to be loads of administration, collectivisation, all that, but I'm saying part of it is a sense of spiritual connection. So Josh Green, I don't hate Dawkins anyway, I'm just pointing out that that sort of scientific dogmatism and materialism actually shares quite a lot with the aspects of religion that they claim to dislike, of being sort of quite judgmental and limiting and all that kind of stuff, and anti-mystical. I don't like it. Dave Ashby goes, also, if you want advice on how to raise a child, would you choose A. Russell Brand, comedian with no education, or B. Richard Dawkins, world-respected biologist whose day job is the education of students? Hard one, that. Dave, you snidey bastard. I'll be a good parent, I will. Maybe I'll talk to Dawkins, me and him will put our spunk in a test tube, we'll get a surrogate mother to birth the brute, and then we'll raise it together. Brand and Dawkins, and we'll look after it. I'll tell it my version of events, Dawkins can tell it his version of events, and at 18 it has to kill one of us with a hunting knife that I will have given it. So then we'll see who's the winner, won't we, Dave? That's the only way to resolve this ideological clash. Jamie B says, I find Russell's lashing out at science here frustrating. If consciousness exists, then its very existence is a scientific question. Science is about making sense of the world and establishing reality. It's not limited to men in lab coats scanning things. Stop narrowly defining science within your prejudiced, rigid parameters, implying that science will never find the answer. Imagine if Watson and Crick decided to give up on discovering the root of genetics. Oh, we can't possibly find out why it is that people seem to pass on information to their offspring. It's too complicated, and our machines and five senses can never comprehend it. That defeatist attitude is the enemy of progression. What type of progression? A progression that inexorably leads to the destruction of the planet because materialistic principles, individualism and materialism, are fated above all else? What kind of progression? Progression to the grave? Progression to the end of time? Progression to Armageddon? Jamie B, of course you need to judge things, evaluate things and have procedures and understanding, but that is a pragmatic process that can never supersede mankind's inherent need for mysticism and connection. From my bedroom project, the concept of time being of no real relevance is actually a suggestion that makes my internal neuro pathways buzz, says From My Bedroom Project, and hum with inquisition while seeking explanation. I've always been fascinated to know how dreams link into this time concept. Many of my dreams seem to show futuristic events prior to manifestation. How is this possible? It isn't. You're lying to us. From My Bedroom Project. Well, it might be. I mean, I don't fully understand this time thing. Except that in this book I was reading by Raymond Tallis, no, it's not Raymond Tallis, it's by the biocentricist, I think it's called Robert Levaz or something. He goes, like an arrow, picture an arrow travelling through the sky. At any given moment, it's at a certain place. Like if you were to take a photograph of it, it's continually in one place, right, at any given time. I used to think when I was a little kid, didn't you? Like imagine like a train was coming towards you, you think, like say it's there, you go, well just come half as close, and then half as close again, then half as close. No matter how small something is, it's still divisible, isn't it? So I thought, in a way, it's impossible for the train to hit you, as long as it only ever comes half as close again. I never tested my theories, in case they were dangerous. Now this time version, this time is like what a lot of people say is that time is something we project because we know that we human beings, born, live for a bit, then die. So we see that as an expiration, but really these events only have a relationship to time retrospectively. Like a table, we see it as an object, but really it's an event. Once it was in a tree got chopped down, it got made into a table, and then it will deteriorate into nothing. It'll get smashed up. Everything, civilizations, planets, everything is an event. It's an event, momentary manifestation of an energy form, momentary. The application of linear time is something we do. They might be right on the brink of discovering that time is a spiral, that time comes back on itself, that time, there's that one that, time goes in myriad directions. We don't know about that, infinite possibilities and all that stuff. But lots of people, and indeed Vedic philosophy, talk about time being a spiral. Well, maybe it is, and if it is, then maybe you dream about future events because it's not linear as we suppose. But we'll never know from my bedroom project because it's very complicated. Well, scientists might work it out, or gods or something, but it's tough for us. Gabriela Duran says, Gabriela Duran. The obsession with time is actually quite a westernised concept. Other cultures deemed socially, economically backwards by the Western world are not so fascinated with it as we are. I've had family working in parts of the world, Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, where most of the people can't even be exact about their age, slippery, what the date is, etc. It's a foreign and bewildering concept to these people as to why the Western world is so transfixed and reliant upon focusing and recording the passing of time. Pretty interesting truths today reminded me of this, so I thought I'd share. Yeah, it is. It just shows that it is arbitrary. Giovanni Foulmouth says, humans are just organisms. Please get more education about science. I will not, and they are not. Richie Cuthbertson. Nobody knows what's real. There could well be entities out there living in a spectrum of light our eyes can't see, or entities that move too fast for us to perceive. Most humans have 3 cones in their eyes. Cornettos, Harley, like a strawberry, a vanilla and a chocolate. Mantis shrimp has 16 cones. While we have bigger brains, which helps with the interpretation of processing light, mantis shrimp see things which would blow our mind and probably confuse us. Oh, I'd love to know what mantis shrimps are looking at now, little bastards. They're out there looking at stuff. They might be spying on us, looking at us in the moon. I was probably watching me getting changed earlier. Those are the fucking mantis shrimps. Dolphins, too, hear a lot more than we do. We've based most of what we know in science on our 5 limited senses, but we only see a small sliver of the light in the universe, and light apparently makes up only 4.5% of the universe. 23% is dark matter, 73% is dark energy. They don't even know what the hell that is, do they? I've been checking. So we know about a tiny fraction, about 4 or 5% of the universe. Most of what's out there is a mystery, so what we refer to as supernatural fantasy could be real. Scientists do not know much at all, really. Well, Richie Cuthbertson, tell that to Giovanni Foulmouth. Perry Urban. Dawkins denies the existence of the unprovable by seeking to prove the existence of the undeniable, which he should know that if the undeniably unprovable actually does hold the secret, then the secret is something so strange that it is essentially magical and supernatural in substance. Oh, good work, Perry Urban. I agree with that. Cully Joe 666 says, OK, I'm a fan of Russell and tend to agree with him on many things, but the Trews over the last week or so is starting to piss me off. Curly Joe 666Y. Firstly, Russell is sounding more and more anti-science every day. The idea that scientists can and will only ever see the universe through the prism of 5 senses is such utter crap, it's unbelievable, largely because there are, by most people counts, 20 or more senses that humans can display. What? You better explain that, mate. Curly Joe 666. Secondly, humans do not represent something special above the animal kingdom, as the book infers. Over the last 100 years or so, more and more research has come to show that almost everything that we thought made us special is present in other animals to varying degrees. Some, orca, may even display even more complex social interactions, depending on who you read. What, if I read something different, the orca's going to get cleverer? Yeah, I know, mate. I'm not arguing with that. I'm more just saying about prioritising, like these ideas, the ideas that we prioritise ought to be practical. And what is the ultimate practical ideology? One planet, certain amount of resources, certain number of people. Favour systems that deal with that reality fairly. That's the only thing that matters. This is the comments edition. If you comment on the comments edition, then you know we're in danger of going into a vortex and time spiral, so do be careful with that. Thank you very much. Subscribe to Trews. How do do?
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some trews. Let's have some trews.